Writing about nature is hard. Which is surprising because I know I have a connection with nature, but what was hard was pinpointing one specific instance where I had a revelation about nature. I pulled out my phone in a desperate attempt to inspire myself. I started at the beginning of my camera roll looking for anything nature related. The first block of images I ran into was my time as a scout. Specifically going to scout camp, where we would spend a week camping with other scouts from all around Georgia doing outdoor activities such as kayaking, hiking, and even swimming. Looking at these photos really brought me back to a time I had forgotten about, which sounds silly to think that I would forget such fond memories. Well, looking back at all these photos, I was like reliving all these fun times. I was transported to the smell of burnt s'mores and the laughs as we argued about card games. I was meeting up with friends for our mud fights at the nearby lake, something I never even would think about doing now. What I relived was what it was like to be surrounded by nature and deeply connected to the natural world. Of course, this was years ago when I was a kid, but this did make me think about a more recent time when I went camping with some friends. Chasing this high of reflection and nostalgia, I scrolled to a more recent event. We backpacked up Mount Yonah in North Georgia and camped out on the top. It was a last-minute thing that my friends and I planned as a spring break trip.
Jump! Yeah! No, we didn't get that.
A specific memory that sticks out from that trip is after we had set up camp on top of the mountain, when we were settling in and about to get a fire started so we can roast some hot dogs, when I realized that I left my lighter at home. The sun hadn't gone down yet, however, we still needed a fire, not only for our food, but also to keep warm because even though it's spring, the mountain winds had no mercy on a bunch of teenagers. So first, we tried looking around for other campers on the mountain, but shortly realized we were the only ones on the mountains. Only slightly panicking, we scavenged what we could from previous campsites and deeply searched our bags for what would include some gum wrappers and batteries. And well,
We did it! We're getting a hot dog cooked tonight.
but having cooked food was not what made me happy because, let's be honest, the hot dogs tasted just as cheap as you would expect for $1. It was the fact that we were able to scavenge and use those resources to fix a problem. I'm not sure if it was because I hadn't eaten all day, but it felt primal in the best way possible. We had created a fire non-conventionally with resources we just happened to find. Nonetheless, most of the details about this trip did not come back to me until I looked back through photos of this time. Like at scout camp, I had to use the photos to relive it and remember such an exhilarating time, which made me realize that without going through this reflection, who knows how long it would have been before I recounted these memories. Almost all of the people I had made these memories with were no longer actively in my life because of college. We had all taken different paths. Since starting college last semester, I can't help but feel in a similar primal state as the one on that mountain. A primal state where I've been working myself non-stop to make sure that I'm taking advantage of all the opportunities I can. The adrenaline is rewarding, but this kind of lifestyle is not sustainable. Being a film major and a performer, I have to rely on connections and experience to drive my career. In the past 6 months, I've been trying so hard to make sure that I get my foot in every door I can, showing up to auditions and volunteering on productions. This is a process where I have constantly compared my path to others in a way that has become highly toxic. What I haven't done is stop and think about how far I have come. Just by looking at these photos from years ago, it also prompted me to look at some old videos I used to shoot as a kid and even theater performances I did. I've been in a hustle mentality for so long, feeling like I wasn't doing enough and quite honestly feeling like I'm not improving on doing what I came to college to do. It was not until I stopped and acknowledged how far I've come that I was able to be proud of myself, give myself a break. A lot of human nature, especially in America, is rooted in this hustle lifestyle and constant comparison that's not sustainable for ourselves or the planet. In America, we live in a society that accepts and romanticizes insatiable workloads while essentially working many of us to the bone. This idea of being productive and innovative all the time is helpful, but can also be to blame for our climate crisis. With insatiable workloads comes insatiable consuming. Since we are constantly working towards our goals, we are also constantly using resources without any regard to how they may harm our planet. Coming down from the mountain was therapeutic, as the pressure of surviving was coming to its resolution. The walk down was a lot easier, full of reminiscent laughter and a sense of achievement, as opposed to the hot and treacherous uphill one faces when trekking up a mountain. Processing my experience on Mount Yonah showed me how reflection and achievement go hand in hand. Even though we go through a hard journey, it's fine to stop at the top and take it in. Take a break for yourself. You've earned it.